everyone. It's my honor and privilege to be with you today. I'm Samantha Mahoney from OL Moed. In our previous 5-minute reflections, we've been working through a series on prayer, looking into that topic. What different types of prayer are there? We've looked at things so far like how not to pray, how we should be praying. We've looked at different forms like intercession, that perfect prayer between you and God. We've looked at the power of corporate prayer. We've looked at prayers of lamentation and asking God for help. But a few years ago, I learned about a very particular prayer which I love to practice. And I learned it through a book that I read by Madame Guyon, and that book is called Experiencing the Depths of Jesus Christ. In this particular book, she talks about a prayer of silence. Now, just consider this verse that comes out of Psalm 46, verse 10. It says, "Be still and know that I am God." Sometimes we can have our best moments with God and our greatest revelations when we just shut up. This stillness is also referred to, if you look at the Western world, it's called contemplation, and in the East they call it meditation. But hold on a minute before you reach for that exit button to turn off of this particular program, because I use the word meditation. Let me just put your mind at rest. That word meditation is used in the King James Version 11 times, and the word meditate no less than 20 times. So God got it before any New Ager got their hands on it first. But meditating from a biblical viewpoint, the difference, I guess, between the Eastern meditation and what the Bible calls meditation is that it's not emptying your mind of words and pictures and thoughts. On the contrary, meditation or contemplation or this prayer of silence is actually a very active word. Consider this verse in Psalm 63, verse 6. It says, "On my bed, I remember you. I meditate on you in the night watches, because you have been my help." So in this context, meditation means to turn your heart towards God and your thoughts towards Him, and to remember, to think about, to play things out in your head. And that is just like what the scripture says in Psalm 34, verse 8, when it says, "Oh, taste and see that the Lord is good." So tasting, when you chew something over, you get all those juices out. It produces seeing, which we refer to as that revelation. You can also take scripture and you can meditate on it, chewing on it until all of that flavor is extracted and the word becomes alive and active to you. One day, a few years ago, I was driving in the car, done some grocery shopping, and I just made a statement to the Lord. I said to Him, "I'm thinking about you right now." Now, when I made that statement, I didn't think it was a conversation starter. I didn't expect to have to elaborate on that statement, but I really felt like He dropped in my spirit the words, "What exactly are you thinking about me?" And I said, "Well, for starters, just look at your creation. Look at what you've created. Look at this river that is my daily viewpoint from my home. Look how the sunlight dances on the surface of the water. Look how you framed that water with such beautiful flowers that make the landscape just explode with beauty. Look at how much joy it creates for people who are out walking their dogs, or maybe they've just taken some time for themselves to appreciate it. And Lord, you know what? If your word says that out of the abundance of the heart, the mouth speaks, then how beautiful are you really, O Creator, that you speak the words and such beauty gets created for me to enjoy. And you've allowed me to enjoy this because you bless me with good things. You know the things that are in my heart. You know the things that I respond to in creation. And you have blessed me with a house right over the road from this river." Just speaking of how blessed I was feeling sparked my next train of thought, and I started to remember big and small things that He had done throughout my whole life and in the lives of my family. Do you know, I have 2 grown children, and both of them have seen God's faithfulness and His goodness with their own eyes. It's not like they're relying on my testimony of His goodness and what mom and dad say because they're in ministry. No, they actually live in abundant favor and blessings and provision. And I recalled many of the prayers that He answered for us over the years. prayers for to protect us, prayers to move on our behalf, the hard times that we brought to him and laid at his feet that he brought us through, how he took every painful circumstance that we went through and he turned it for our good, because that's exactly what the word says. And this is simple contemplation, remembering. It's the prayer of silence. It's meditating on God and his goodness. When I started to do this, it just created something else in me. It was an eruption of thanksgiving and praise and adoration and worship, because when you remember that and you feel that closeness and you see that hand that he's always had on you, even when we take it for granted, even when we just feel like we're entitled to some things, when you take the time to actually remember all that he's done, something shifts on the inside of you, and you cannot help but to give him all the praise and the honor and the thanks and the glory. That honestly was one of the sweetest times that I've ever experienced with God, just that prayer of silence, that contemplation. Let me read you another scripture. It's Psalm 143 verse 5. And it talks of 3 different things here, which I want to point out. It says, I remember the days of old. I meditate on all your works. I muse on the work of your hands. So I went into the Strong's Concordance and I looked up those 3 words. What does it mean to remember? What does it mean to meditate? What does it mean to muse? Because those are types of prayers. And here are some of the definitions of those words. It means to put forth thoughts. So as I said in the beginning, meditation is not about emptying your mind and not thinking of anything. This, in this context, is remembering. It's putting forth thoughts. It's focusing on something. It means to muse. It means to study or to ponder. It means to converse with oneself. It means to commune. It means to devise. And it means to pray. What beautiful and intimate type of communion with God this is. And you know what? He always usually speaks back in the form of revelation about what you're meditating on. Join me next week as we look at one final type of prayer before I close the prayer series down. But today I thank you for tuning into this Eternal Echoes segment on our YouTube channel. Again, I'm Samantha Mahoney, and if you've enjoyed what you've watched, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more content like this. Until next time, stay inspired and keep your light shining. Shalom.